What's up, beautiful people? Today we're going to be checking out another session by Julius Malema. This one is titled Julius Malema Schools an Arrogant Nigerian High Commissioner on Colonialism. I'm interested, so let's get to it.
My name is Muhammad Haruna Manta. I'm the High Commissioner of Nigeria. The President, in your address, you made no mention.
The Nigerian High Commissioner and the ideology in African politics is a total sham. There is widespread discontent on the continent and a push for change that may well become a transnational movement. Ambassador Manta gently chided Malema for continuing to speak about imperialism and colonialism, as if they remained the prevailing issues of the day. Colonialism had since ended in Africa. The task before African nations was to develop themselves within the global community. Energy should be focused on attracting foreign direct investment instead of ideological partisans which could alienate potential investors. Take a look.
Will strengthen this regional organization, or whether or not the EFF does not see the value addition in the AU as well as SADC. The second question I wish to ask is the very radical posture of the socialist concept, which probably was very relevant in the after the Berlin Conference, 1880-something, 1884-85. But today, we don't have colonialism to fight as such, because the whole of Africa has been decolonized. South Africa is independent, Namibia is independent, and so is the whole African continent, with the exception of probably some aggression against Western Sahara. So is it not time that EFF takes a posture that is more inclusive of development concepts rather than imaginary fighting colonial?
I'm so excited to hear what Malema is going to respond to this. Take more inclusive concepts into development rather than imaginary fighting. That's the question.
Imaginary fighting colonialists that do not exist in any way.
Because to want to approach politics without ideological orientation. From which ground do you move from? There is a reluctance because to create a formidable thing like an African government, because everybody benefits from these little cocoons. You are called a president of Swaziland, prime minister or something. But your country is not bigger than Soweto. What is that?
Shots fired.
It means Soweto must be a country also. So, but because they benefit from that, they don't even want to engage in this discussion. Because it's an individuals who benefit from it. That's why there's no concrete plan to go into it, and there's no a single president that leads this discussion and put it firmly on the agenda of the AU. That the original thought of the AU as OAU, it was to establish, the founding fathers wanted to establish a solid government, and they got defeated in that discussion. But the intention has always been to create a solid government from its inception, that we should come together and be one. And something came out of it, and it never went back to what it was supposed to be, a government, a united government of Africa. And that's what we'll advocate for ourselves as the EFF. Africa Free Trade is a movement in the right direction. But the first thing we need to do, which the AU must firmly resolve, is to do away with the visa for Africans. There should not be a visa for Africans. The same way the Europeans have one visa, they travel everywhere, they are one thing. What they have, they don't want us to have it. There shouldn't be a visa in Africa.
So with this, I know a lot of people have been saying it's a good thing to remove the visa. I also advocate for this. But do you see any disadvantage of removing a visa in Africa? Do you see any harm that could be caused? Do you see any harm? Feel free to, share, because maybe I'm not seeing on the other side. I like to see from both sides. I think if they remove the visa, a lot could happen: interaction, trade interaction, even like humanly interaction. But what are the disadvantages that could come up as a result of this? Please feel free to share.
Free movement of people should be allowed. And there's no one who's going to leave Nigeria to come and settle here. It's not true, that thing. It's a myth. I mean, I come from a province called Limpopo. We don't need visa to go to Johannesburg. But people are still there in Limpopo. They've not left Limpopo to Johannesburg. So doing away with visa doesn't mean automatically people are going to leave their homes to where the economy is prospering. It's not true. Johannesburg, Gauteng is doing much better than Limpopo. But the people are not leaving Limpopo to Gauteng. So why would people leave Lagos to here? For what? It's their home. They will come here, look for what they are looking for, and take it back where they come from. We'll go to Lagos to do the same and come back home. We have a problem here of unemployment of South Africans who are told by the previous apartheid mentality and colonialism, brainwashed, that South Africa is superior, is better. They've got the best qualifications. They never go out of the country to go and look for jobs in other countries. Why? Why? Why are they not going all out of Africa? We have nurses, we've got, now we're told doctors, we now have teachers, we have this. Africa is in need of that skill. You going to work anywhere in Africa.
You know what he said? Africa is in need of those skills, but the problem is those skills are going to Europe. They're going to Europe. More and more they're giving opportunities and even paying doctors a lot better than African countries would to take these doctors to Europe. Nigerian doctors are more out there and they're doing a lot better. So the question would be, what is left in Nigeria? Which doctors are treating the patients? Quack doctors, maybe? Because the doctors that can leave, they're going. The good ones, they even give them sponsorship. Like, come, if you're good, if you pass with flying colors, please come.
Trigger. In Ghana, it doesn't mean you left your home. It's the same as me leaving Limpopo to come here. When the time permits, I go back home. So what is the problem? Let's go. They need to go. The continent, it's our home. We must all go there and become one thing. Once we do away with the visa, we are going to know each other. The reason why we are scared is because we don't know each other. We know each other through the lenses of our enemies. We don't know each other. So we must first know each other if we're going to build the government of Africa. So it's important that we engage in this thing. Free movement of people and goods, it will help us appreciate the existence of each other and bring us more closer for the unity of this continent. Well, African Union is it's a meeting of friends who don't even call each other to order. They can meet with a dictator who has just, killed his own people and then meet for the whole week and not even mention it. So we can't allow the African Union to continue to work the way it is working. We are talking here about SADC. We have a problem here in Zimbabwe. These members of SADC don't call the government of Zimbabwe to order because it's a group of brothers. That government is violating people there. It has just passed a law of gatherings and speeches and all of that. If they don't like you, you're having a political rally, they just send soldiers, they shoot at you and all of... No one...
That happens in Zimbabwe. I've been hearing a lot happening in Zimbabwe, but there's nobody really talking about it. I don't know why there's nobody on the media really speaking about it. Is it that the media is controlled? Because I said the last time that I was going to go look into it, but then the information is kind of surfaced and I can't run with the information that has not gone trickled deep down into the roots. Because if I come out and say the wrong thing on the media, then I would be wrong. I can't even state the source because the source is not reliable. So why are people not talking about it? I've been hearing so much going on in Zimbabwe. I personally don't know per se. I don't even know if it's true, but I've just been hearing.
SADC has raised his voice to say, but what is this? So we cannot have these regional bodies and the continental body, including Pan-African Parliament, by the way, which are not biting on countries that are engaged in wrong activities. What is wrong with President Ramaphosa calling President Mnangagwa to order? It will be coming from a good place. They are all brothers, they are all Africans, they all speak, we assume, for the interest of Africans. So we can't have a situation where we've got regional bodies, continental bodies that become a meeting of elite without concrete solutions to the problems confronting the people of Africa. We have a problem in Mozambique. The problem is solved by sending soldiers. Where have you ever seen soldiers solving a problem? Soldiers don't solve a problem. The leadership must meet and discuss and come up with a binding decision. That's why we say we need one legislature, one military, one currency, one president, so that we know when we go into Mozambique, it's not an interference, it's us providing a solution to our own problems. So we are not happy with how these things are structured. Look, economic integration, trading partners, developmental concepts, we embrace all of that, but it doesn't mean we're ideologically naive. We're not ideologically naive, we're political. And therefore, if we were to trade with the USA or to trade with the UK, we trade from a perspective of knowing that we don't share the same ideologies. When you approach them, you know these ones are brutal. I must not sleep on the job. They are not friends. We are not born at...
When you approach them, you know these ones are brutal. You must not sleep on the job. Yeah.
Alone, we are born with people. That's what friends are for. And to have friends that are aligned with you ideologically is nothing wrong. It's not an old-fashioned thing. It's actually apolitical. What informs your perspective as a person who is a political animal? It's important always to have our sharing ideological perspective with China. It doesn't mean you can't get a foreign direct investment from Norway or from UK or from Germany. No. You always relate with all countries. Foreign direct investment is more than welcome, but on our terms. Not on Germany's terms. No. We have been giving Germany a lot of money here in South Africa for assembling cars. Not for building cars, for assembling cars. Why is Germany not building those cars here?
What cars did they assemble in Germany, in South Africa? And also, if the natural resources these cars are made of come from Africa, wouldn't it be more cost effective to build them in Africa? Just saying.
And create jobs here. In South Africa, we have a problem of unemployment here. Germany will not have a problem. It needs leadership that is decisive, that is going to say, look, we're going to meet you halfway, but you have to meet us halfway. Assembling is not enough. Let's start it here and build it here. So, and Germany's investment under the EFF government is not threatened at all. The same as any other investment. But we're going to renegotiate the deals. And they must be to the interest of Africans. Botswana did it now, where the BS just wanted to change a diamond deal and all of Botswana said it's not going to happen. You are going to trade here and do diamond here on our terms. Botswana screamed, De Beers screamed, kicked, did all manner of things. If this thing is not signed by when we leave, they said you can go. But yeah, we are going to sign the deal on our terms. De Beers went back and signed. So that's leadership.
Yeah.
Investors want to know what is your position on this matter, so that they can navigate around it and see if they can still make profit out of it. They are not interested in you or in anything. They're interested in politics. That's why they mine blood diamond. They know people are being killed there. This diamond comes from where people are being killed. They still take it. Why do they want to behave like a holy cows and want to punish people for political ideas, yet they don't punish people who are killing each other for diamonds? They go there and still buy blood diamonds. So be clear, then they will come and invest. Even on the land question, we've got special development zones, economic zones here in South Africa, where multinational companies have invested a lot of money on the land they don't own. It's owned by the state. Special industrial zones, special economic zones in South Africa where multinational companies have put billions of rands. They don't own that land. So what is the obsession with the ownership of the land? Why do you say when you state own the land, the multinational companies want to invest because there is no guarantee? No, you give them the guarantee that from this period to this period, this is yours, these are the benefits, these are the incentives, this is what is going to happen. Please invest here. They will invest. They have done it now under this government. Why do you say when people don't own the land, there won't be investment? There is a huge development that happened right in front of us. One of you said...
But that logic, sorry, I'll take it back, but that logic doesn't make sense. If people have to own the land to invest, then they'll just buy the whole of Africa because they have money. They just keep buying. Then when Africans are ready to use their land, what would they have? Yeah, so I think it's even ideal that for an investment, you lease out for a certain period of time, you use it for this, you sign the contract, you do everything, and they know they are safe for this period. Then after this period, we can take back our land, or, you can renegotiate the contract. But that's how it should be.
Was here for 9 years. I think it's a dean of diplomatic corps. There's a huge development here in Midrand where there is Mall of Africa. That land, that big development you see there, that land is owned by an Indian family. When you buy property there are no transfer costs. No one owns. They are on a lease of 100 years, those people. Yet they still buy there.
Yeah. What I think the question the man was asking, he did answer the question, don't get me wrong. But I think what the man is going off the perception that there's no colonialism anymore in Africa, that EFF is fighting colonialism. And in the tone, sometimes Julius Malema might sound, it seems like he's against Europeans or people coming into Africa to invest. But I don't think that's his position. And he's been able to explain that. And when he talks about colonialism, he's not speaking of colonialism like the Western world coming to Africa to hold Africa hostage. I think he's mostly speaking about systematic colonialism and, should I say, the psychological bondage that has been, put into Africa or the minds of Africans to not separate themselves and, to elevate themselves to the next level. So I feel like that's what he speaks about most of the time. And he speaks on restructuring Africa in a way that is more favorable for Africans. So yeah, his response was right on point. And I like the fact that the commissioner asked the question. Anyways, let me know what you think about that video. If there's anything you want to add, correct, or critique, please feel free to do so. That being said, have a wonderful day. Smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.